Hey, hi all you fine people out there. One of the most common questions I get is, if I use your products, Rick, will my book come back with a purple or a blue label? Will it count as restoration? What is CGC and CBCS, GS, God forbid PGX, any of those places say about your books? Well, I don't know. I say I never claim I know what CGC will do. That's a fool's errand to do that. But I've submitted over 100 books that I know myself came back with blue labels. I have 0 purple labels at the time of this recording, which is October 1st, 2021. So what I'm going to do, though, I'm going to show the experiment. I have this Amazing Spider-Man book of no note. It's not notable in any way or fashion, but it's pretty bad. It can use some cleaning up. I'm going to clean it up. So I'm going to show you that I do it, and I'm going to resubmit the thing, and then about 8 months, maybe sometime early 2022, time when there's no COVID, hopefully, we will, whatever that future looks like, we'll report back. So anyway, take care. See you guys in a few months, or maybe I'll make this a 2-parter video. All right, take care. Bye-bye. So we start by opening the case here. Spider-Man. Now these things are sealed with, there's these 4 little buttons on the side, and then it's heat sealed on one left side, like right here. So I know a lot of people like to just break them apart, and you can get something in here like this, and you can just literally just pull these, but sometimes I like to ship the books back in the case, so I try to preserve them a little bit. So I'm just going to cut through this Bosch PS50 reciprocating saw, and then we'll cut through the tabs, and then we'll break that little heat seal thing apart here. Let's do that. Yeah, I'm going to use my X-Acto knife here, or my razor knife, and just cut this thing around the outside. And it will come out of the case, out of the inner sleeve here in a moment. And then we'll just take it out of the sleeve here, and we'll have our book. There we go. And a few spots here where it has to be cut a little more, I think. There we go, and there's our book. This book is not a pretty lady. Needs a little love. It definitely has not been pressed, and no, I'm looking for missing pages, and I don't see anything. The book seems whole, but we will clean it and we will press it. And guess what? Our folder is, can be reassembled for safe shipping. So that's that. So here's this book. It's not a pretty book. It is, if you look in the light here, it's very wrinkled on the back, lots of spine breaks, big crease here. This white isn't particularly white. Lots of wrinkles up there. It's just not great. But and there's a tear here. So 4.0 might have actually been generous before, but we'll see what we got. We're going to warm it up. I'm just going to get it warm for a little bit before I clean it with Immacuclean. So I'm just going to give it about a minute at 160, and then we'll continue. First thing we'll do with this book is we're just going to give it. I'm just going to start with the Immacuclean. We're going to press it, and if it needs further work with we'll use the tick-attack boards, and we'll use the tacking tool, and then we'll give it a shot. See what that looks like. So this is getting some dirt off of there. Clearly, it's the white part that we're most concerned with because that'll stand out on this particular book. We'll get the back too. So this book is going to get, I'm going to really dose it pretty good with the Immacuclean so that people can see that I'm using it on here. This is at, I think, 3% by volume. Oh, it's getting more off. Okay, it'll be a little better. Hopefully it'll be glossy still if I don't put too much pressure on it. Yeah, so that's looking a bit better, and then we'll just let it dry for I'll let it stand for about 10 minutes so it's not soaking wet, and then we'll assemble our little sandwich. So in this case, just to prevent any transfers to this board and to make it look a little more natural, I'm going to go under the second page of this book. Make sure the staples aren't in too far. Push this in over. This keeps it, this page is usually, this ink is more easily transferred, so I'll just push it over, save myself a little bit of work. This cover's still damp a little. Because it's still damp in a couple spots, before I press it, I'm going to put it under here, and I'm just going to give it with a piece of tissue paper a light press. And just a few seconds of that warmth will be enough to help dry it much more quickly. And then you'll see that it will start dry. It's wrinkling quite a bit, but I want that to be drier than it is before I start, so I'll just do that. How much I have a chamfer board in the back. That's a little bigger one, just because that's what I have handy, not for any specific reason. I've got a chamfer board on the front. It's tucked in tightly. This front page is super wrinkly. The whole thing might need more than one press. I'm going to build this. This is colors on the other side of that silicone sheet. I preheated this bottom board at 160. Put it on here. Going to push that in the middle. It's 160. It's going to be about 60 pounds of pressure. See when this angle here, it's like that. That's not, so it's tight right there. That's about 60 pounds right there. If you just got a single book in there and you've got your metal plate on top and bottom. This thing I'm sure needs more cold pressing, but let's see what we've got here. We have the metal pressing sheet on top. Have to wait for the sound for it to fall. Let's see what we have so far, if it looks any different. So, it needs more work. I'd say it needs definitely needs some ball bearing stuff. It needs some tacking board stuff here. So we're going to give it that. I can see lots of little wrinkles in there. There's lots up here. So I'm getting low on water in this thing, but I'm going to steam it, and then we will use our tacking board to get some of those finer things out after we also ball bearing it a little bit. So I'm gonna just like put some ball bearing work here. I run those out. You can actually just make a figure 8 here. I like to make figure 8s because it hides the pattern a little bit of the bearing if you need it. Run this on here. Where I see these deep sections, I rub my ball bearing. Just kind of put my hand over it here. Alright, gonna steam this now. Then I'm gonna take my tack iron and I will tack iron it a little bit. Let's see. Alright, well, there's lots of spots on this guy that need a little love, so we're going to give it to him, and he's obviously going to need more than one press as well. It's little micro spots here, and I'm going to just find them and make a figure 8 here. Yeah, looks like they're not taking much work. They're coming right out. There we go. I get close to the spine up here with my tic-tac board, so I put this right where the staples go, and then I'm going to find this board and I'm going to make a little figure 8 here. And the reason I do that is I'm trying not to make one directional lines. They can kind of hide each other a little bit. Yep, that's working. And yeah, I mean, I'm just going to have to, there's a lot of this book that needs a little extra TLC, so we'll give it to it. Yeah, a lot of this stuff's coming out. There's lots of little tiny dents and scratches in this book. I'm not much one for humidity chambers, but this one might actually need it. Yeah, this stuff's all helping quite a bit, so we'll just take what we can out of here. One of the things I like to do, especially, get the corners flat. Make a little figure 8 here. There we go. And this book is not going to be winning any awards, that's for sure. So, yeah, it's getting better. There's a little spot in Hobgoblin's chest here I'd like to see gone. I may take a ball bearing to that spot and kind of press it back out. Yep, I think it's going to need a little bit of love. Just going to kind of rub it on here. Alright, well, back in the press it goes. So let's see what it looks like when we're all done. We've got our top plate, which is one of our products, of course. We've got our book here. And let's see what we've got. Well, I would say that looks better. Well, that looks a lot better. Let's look at it under some good lighting here and move these out of the way. That's what it looks like after. Those are not wrinkles, those are color breaks. There's a lot of color breaks. This book is, I don't know. It's not great. Again, I would be hesitant to call it I don't know, maybe it's a fine plus. I mean, depends on how you count color breaks, I guess, but it's, you know, it's okay. Now let's look at the, let's look for UV stuff that you might see if you are a person looking for those kind of things. I don't see anything in here. There's no like streaks or splotches. There's some discoloration here in the middle, but overall it's, and that's just because of it's dirty. Otherwise it looks pretty good, I think. We'll send it in and see what CGC says about it. Well, folks, that's it. We'll get it back in about 7 or 8 years from CGC. I mean 7 or 8 months. We'll get it back in 7 or 8 months from CGC, and we'll see what color or label we get. It's probably going to be blue, but this will just hopefully answer the 35 to 40 questions I get a week about what color label we'll get. I'll just point people to this video in the future. So hopefully that'll help. Take care. Bye-bye. See ya.